Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lizard Brains podcast. I'm your host, DJ Alessandrini. I'm joined by my co-host, Tom Gorman. Tom, how's it going?
Hello, I'm good. How's your helmet hair?
I barely have hair, so that's the answer to that one.
Yeah, but you had a helmet on like an hour ago.
I did. Yeah, I was getting sweaty. I still have sunscreen all over me. It's great. This is amazing.
Gross.
Feel all
How
auto
did it
crossed
go?
up.
Tell me about it.
Oh, I did a weeknight autocross. Akron Sports Car Club holds it. They hold it at this like local drag strip. And at the end of it, they do like a bracket challenge thing, but it's just raw time. And last time I did this thing, Tom was there, and Tom was in a very fast Corvette that was having issues.
And I blew it. No, it wasn't having issues.
It
I
was.
had an issue.
The issue was Tom, and I was also driving a Corvette, and my second gear went to like 80, so it was like not ideal, but it was like a Corvette, so like it's just a bunch of Corvettes there, right? Well, this time I was poking around trying to find something to drive. Mike Kubiak's Corvette that I drove last time is out of commission at the moment, and I was just gonna not go. And then Chip Manuels sent me a message and was like, "Yo, you can take my Miata if you want." It's like, I think I could win in that. So I took his Miata, and I was the only not V8 car in like the top 10. And we won that thing, Tom. Bum, 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 bum. Let's
Hey,
go.
bravo. Cheer, cheer,
I
cheer.
wasn't the fastest going into the thing. I had the second seed. There was somebody named Travis there in a Cam S Corvette. It was blue. I haven't really seen the car around, but honestly, I'm not really looking at
It
like
was blue.
I'm not looking at the Cam S grids, to be honest. I'm
That's
sorry.
very funny. That's so funny though. That's 100% this podcast assessment of the car.
Yeah, it was blue. It had a wing on it. Like
Yeah.
it sounded like it had a lot of power, but like I don't know, like it looked really fast. But yeah, STR Miata with completely stock power and just the suspension mods, good enough. Let's go. So I was pretty pumped by that. I just went out there and did laps because that's all I could do. He had me by a couple tenths on raw time. And like I said, the bracket is just raw time because what they do is kind of cool. You line up on like other halves of the course, and then you have to do a lap. So your start and finish line is different than their start and finish line, but both of you are doing a lap. And when I was coming across the finish in the last round, it was just me, second seed versus first seed. We both made it to the finals. And I looked over right as I crossed the line, and I saw that that he was just about to cross the line. So I knew that I had it when I crossed, which was kind of cool. Sometimes you don't know, and you're like you're stuck in that like awkward limbo. You're like, did I win? Did I win? And everyone else is just like packing up, and like nobody's paying attention to you. So you're like, I don't even know how I placed.
So I have noticed a thing with your helmet camera, which I love how many like in-car cameras / helmet cameras have been shared in the Discord recently. I've noticed on your helmet cameras something I do, which is if I think I hit a cone, I look to the mirror.
Yeah, I did
And
that.
I check if there's a cone, and I see every time. Like, there's been like 2 instances recently where for sure you've thought like I might hit that cone, and you like flick your head just
Because you
over
could
to
see
see
it.
it.
You could see it.
And it's the like, why? Who cares? But also, I can't help but do it. So when I see you do it, it makes me it makes me giggle.
I need to know if this run is shot or not. I look because like let's say it is shot, and I'm like, okay, well then I can like up the level of experimentation a little bit. Like let's see if I can learn something with this trashed run.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Or on the flip side, can I save the tires of the person who was generous enough to let me drive their car today? Which is usually the decision I go with. But if it's an important event, yeah, 100%, I do what you do. Like, all right, I'm gonna go for it now.
yeah, or if you're co-driving with somebody and it's a hot day, then you just like chill for the rest of the run because like what do you like you're not gonna burn the tires down. I've done that for
Yep.
Peter probably a couple times, but I've seen Peter do it a bunch of times where like the run just doesn't start off or go the way that he plans on it, and he's like, "Well, this one's over. Like, I'm not going to beat my time. And then he just like meanders through the course and brings back like the coolest possible tires for me. So yeah,
That's
it's a thing.
super generous co-driving.
Yeah,
Did you autocross this weekend? I
I
had a pretty
did.
cool weekend. So I was
Tom, I've autocrossed so much in the last week. I did 2 events on the weekend, and then I just got back from one. So
Oh, yeah, okay, you did 2 events in 2 different cars,
yeah, on
right?
Saturday.
Okay, go
Yep.
you go first, and I have some stories from this weekend too, so you
Okay,
go
yeah,
first.
because you were coaching at Summit Point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I drove a Cayman S, a 981.
Yes.
That's the newer one. 98.
Is that like I'm a snake?
No, what? What even is that?
Some people got that. Someone somewhere got that.
If you're in the chat and you got that, please chime in. And if you didn't, then just give Tom a thumbs down. Um, I don't see any thumbs down, so it must be good. All right. So, all right, must be got it. Anyways, uh, it was a Cayman S, not the 718, but the one that was right before that. I think it's 981. I'm not sure. Porsche owners everywhere are gonna be like, "Give us back your hat." Um, and it was an SST trim, so it had some like Olin's Road and Track on it, sway bars, like camber, stuff like that. And it was a lot of fun to drive. It was a little bit of a handful. I think it could be really helped with like a little bit additional front spring. But man, Porsches, they just drive so good. I just love them, Tom. Someday I'll have one. I feel like
Yep.
I feel like twins are like the poor people's Porsches.
I I watched that video having driven Porsches before, and I felt like, that was a Porsche that didn't handle very well, but I was still like especially it had the manual, right? It was
Yep.
a 6-speed.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know. I could feel that you liked it,
I liked
even
it.
though it wasn't very good.
It look, it
And I was
was
like, "Yeah, I
I
get it. I
mean,
get it."
it the only reason why like quote unquote it wasn't very good is just it was so loose on entries. So like you couldn't like really load up the front because the front would always overpower whatever the rear was doing on entries. And we threw a bunch of
But it looked like it had bigger rear wheels than front wheels, right? And tires as well.
yeah,
So
correct.
it looked like it would, like, oversteer on entry, and it would make that, like, chirpy noise from the rear, and then, like, it would kinda flat slide for just the smallest second, and then it would, like, push for a moment like, exit, which is, like, the worst combo, like, loose on entry and pushy on exit is like, "Ah!
Yeah,
Ah! What am I doing?"
if I caught the pivot with like the throttle application just right, it kind of like squirmed and like slip angled out. But like I had to
Spot squirmed and slip angled.
yeah,
Okay.
that should be a
Yeah.
t-shirt. And and it it when I got that, I felt like a hero. Like it felt so good. Uh so I know that the car could be set up in a way to just make the input window to get that easier. And I'm not entirely sure what you would need to change to get it to that to be easier. But I had glimpses of like, oh my god, this thing could be like absolutely incredible. And I actually messaged Peter because Peter's been kind of like, you know, it's he's like wondering like, okay, do we stay in D Street? Do we do CST? Do I get a Porsche? Like, he's like wondering like, what's the next thing? What's the next like autocross like adventure? Um, and I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe a 981 Cayman S and SST like might actually. Obviously, if there's a power course, then 500 horsepower Supra is gonna like win the day. But it's like mid 300s on the power for the Cayman, and it doesn't weigh all that much. And I think you could throw more tire than this one had under it. And you just like, it could use a diff and then just like some suspension tweaks. I think it might actually be a pretty fast SSD car.
I think the biggest consideration there, from my experience with the Caymans, whether you're on track or whether you're autocrossing, is the transmission that comes with them,
Oh,
because there's like a base level transmission. I'm speaking out of school here, but there's a transmission that is like more street oriented, non S maybe, and that one is pretty clunky no matter what you do. with shift requests and like shift speed and all this. And then
Yeah.
there's either the S or the I don't know if it's the G. It's probably not the GT4, but I don't know. Somebody can add a comment to this or something that will know better. But I
Are
think it's mostly down to that.
are you saying that the PDK is clunky?
I my experience is that there's a even if there's a PDK, the non-S PDK maybe is clunky and the S is good.
Yeah, well, the S is that's the one you'd want for SST anyways, so
Matt says there's Tiptronic and PDK. Okay, so maybe I'm thinking of the Tiptronic is bad and the PDK is good.
I think the
But
PDK
either
is
way,
good, yeah.
it's yeah. There's some consideration there, but to your point, yes, I agree that I think the Cayman has the chassis especially has really high potential.
Yeah, but I had lot of fun driving that car, and then on Sunday, I haven't driven a C Street car since I had a C Street car probably. Actually, yeah, that's the last time I drove a C Street car
Like 2018.
is when it was mine. Yeah, 2018. Because 2019 I was doing GLTC. And Tom, I didn't like it. It's so pushy. I forgot how pushy it
Okay,
was.
I find this intriguing because I like C Street cars, which means like stock autocross prepped MX5s, and I don't like D Street cars, which means uh autocross prepped twins like BRZ GR86. And I own one of those and I like mine, but I don't like the autocross versions of them. And you're the opposite. Okay, so like tell me why.
Well, it feels like on the C Street car, you have to like to get the rear to do anything. It feels like you have to like really huck the car, like really fast hands, like back and forth to like get the where you're not just using the front tires. And then like you have to be really diligent with the weight on entry, but you're never going to get like a twist or a rotation on entry. It's more like you kind of just like set the weight on the nose and then like ride the nose all the way down to apex, like on longer sweepers. So you never get like a twist or any kind of like rotation in on entry unless you had the car going the other way and then you can flick it back the other way. Then you might get some kind of like rotation going in, which I did
Like
that.
a scandy flick.
Yeah, you got to scandy flick the thing to like get the rear tires to go like, oh, okay, I'll do something. So yeah, and I just it was like a flashback of like because my C Street car was kind of similar. And I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of like what these things are. It's like it turns like mostly fine, and then the moment you get in throttle, it just like doesn't turn. So I don't know. I had to like it honestly it was like polar opposites of like the two cars I drove. Like the shapes of the corners were like kind of like opposite of what each other were because the Cayman had all the turning on I guess the shapes were kind of the same, but the Porsche was like more exaggerated. Porsche obviously turned better on entry and exit because it was oversteery and then the Miata was understeery. So I guess that would
Because it's a Porsche.
it's just yeah, I guess I'm comparing a Porsche to a Miata, but yeah, I don't it was a fun little challenge to like try to get used to this thing in the four runs that we had. Uh and yeah, I'm really glad I got to drive the car the Cayman Dan and then the Miata Joel. But I kind of expected like going back to my roots to be like a little bit like, oh yeah, I remember this. Oh, these cars are so playful and fun or whatever. And I think I've driven too many STR cars since the C Street car. And now I'm just like, all the cars should just be STR cars because those are more fun.
I kind of had the same thought. Like I don't get excited about driving any at all, any NA or NB Miata, because I feel like my first autocrossing experiences were essentially an NB Miata that was stock, and then I owned an NA Miata once, and then I owned a second one, and then like and then I daily drove an NB Miata for like 5 years. So I just kind of feel like I've done that, and now
Yeah.
I have this like weird opinion that's like, it's not realistic, but I just feel like NA NB Miatas are like $3,000 cars, and like I even saw like we've talked about this before,
Yeah.
but I even saw one that was listed for sale this weekend for like $9,000, and It was a completely stock, rust-free NA Miata that was like a garage queen thing, and they listed it for $9,000, and I was like, that's like a $2,000 experience. That is not a $9,000 car. It's just not,
I
and
think
I feel like we need to, like, move on from that.
it's only
But that's
$9,000.
also my exposure to it,
Yeah,
you know?
maybe it is a $2,000 experience, but I would think that most people don't actually experience the car. They're just like freaking car guy in it.
Hey, what do you mean? I experienced the car. I wash it and then I look at it and then I set up a lawn chair and then I look at it some more and then I put a car cover over it. And then sometimes I go out to the garage and take the car cover off and sit in it. And then sometimes, DJ, asshole, sometimes I even drive it on the road to a Cars and Coffee where other people can look at the car. So you get out of here like they don't even use it. What kind of elitist bullshit is that?
Wow. I struck a nerve with Carlton McCarr guy. That was
That that hasn't happened in a while, that caught me so off guard.
Carlton's been behaving himself. I don't know where that came from.
But, okay, in a realistic world, there are Scion FRSs and Subaru BRZs that are for sale for the same price as NA Miatas.
Yeah,
You
you'd
know,
much rather have a
what are we
FRS.
doing? First of all, what are we doing? Second of all, you gotta move on. Like, you gotta, like, move on from that car. You gotta let it go for $3,000. Just let someone else have it for it's not worth what you think you have in it. I don't know. That's the hill I'm gonna die on here. That's an unpopular opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I have no if you have an affinity toward that car and you want a really nice one, I think finding nice ones are hard. That's why that's why it's expensive for what it is because some people I don't know, it could be like a 60-year-old person and then like they're like, "Oh, when I was 20, I really wanted a 1992 Miata, but like I just wasn't in the position, but now I'm in a position to have one and I want the one I never had," right? Like that's totally going to exist. We interact with cars differently than the rest of the world, Tom.
We do.
And
We do.
everyone
Yeah,
listening to
that's
this podcast is in the same boat we are. So like we're the weird ones, everyone. In case
Hey, weirdo.
yeah,
Thanks for listening.
I don't know if that was a news flash, but like we're the weirdos.
Okay, so you drove the Porsche on Saturday and you drove the Miata on Sunday.
Yep. And then an
And
STR
plot
Miata
twist, you would
today.
you would drive the Miata. You no, no, you drive the Porsche over the Miata. All right.
Yes. Crazy.
So we're doing groundbreaking reporting here on the
Yeah.
Scissor Brains
Oh,
podcast.
I wanna give a shout out to Ito Waxman, who hasn't driven in an autocross in like 9 months, and literally the dude's first run, he was in first place of the entire like pro class for the region. Like first run, just like went out there and just laid it down. I don't even know how he did that. I think Ito surprised himself, but I was pretty impressed. And if it wasn't for all those cones you hit at the end, Ito, you would have won the whole thing.
Oops.
So I
Yeah, they count.
honestly super impressed. I if I didn't drive for 9 months, I don't think I would go out there and just be like, "Oh, it turns out I'm fast." I think I would be knocking off a lot of rust.
I think that's okay. I did not plan to do this, but we're gonna do it right now. I think that's because you think that's a thing. I think you think that you getting rusty is a thing, and that's why it's like it's in your mind that if I haven't driven a car recently, I'm gonna be rusty.
No, I don't think
You're
that's
nodding.
it.
You're shaking your head. You're saying
Yeah,
no.
I don't.
Tell me.
I wish that wasn't the thing. It's my vision sucks. It's like everything seems fast. Like the outsides of my like vision is like super blurry. I'm just not taking in as much information as I would if I just had a couple like events or runs or whatever.
So
Like
why do you think that is? Is it like a visual looking ahead habits thing or like
honestly, I think because if
we're
I
we're get we're sorry, I'm calling you out on this
yeah yeah
in real time. I'm sorry, but go
I
ahead.
honestly as much of a proponent to sim racing as I am, I think if I only sim race for like 9 months and then jumped in a car, I think I would be like the sensations of being in a real car would be a little overwhelming because it's not something I'm used to. And my brain has been fully focused on sim racing and it will like rewire itself to like kind of cover up the pathways in my brain that are needed to like drive an actual real car. And
So let the
if I didn't
you
sim
can
race,
verbalize that so you can verbalize that very clearly. That makes sense. What is the difference then? Maybe that's the connection difference that you need to like work on.
If I wasn't sim racing for that 9 months and then I just jumped in, or like very limited where I'm not like lizarding that thing, and then I just jumped in, I don't think those brain pathways would be like fully covered up, so there would be a little less rust. It's like I'm like
Yeah.
learning something else in place of the real world driving.
So for me, when I struggled with this in sim, because I did like 6 months of COVID driving, 5 months of COVID driving, and then I came back to real cars. What I struggled with was the disconnect between my confidence to enter the corner at maximum G load, essentially, and trail off the brake and maximize the rotation of the car from, the weight being fully forward to the weight moving to the outside of the car. Basically, I thought I would spin if I like did that in real life because that's what would happen in the sim all the time. I'm curious if there's something that's different with the sim that you are feeling that then like when you get into real car, you're like, this is like, uh, it's okay if you don't have an answer because again, I'm
No,
challenging you on this
I I think
in
it's
real time. But
the sensations and the differences, like the way the steering, because like the steering in the sim feels a little bit different than it does in real life. Like
yeah,
the actual car moving around underneath you, the sensation of speed is different. I think like all those things kind of combined, like just it like I think my body has like a fight or flight response, and my vision like narrows, and I'm just literally just not pulling in as much information as I would otherwise. But when I feel like super dialed and like really comfortable in a car, it just feels like my eyes are like super wide and I just have all this information and I feel super relaxed sitting in the driver's seat, and I just feel like at home, right? And if I
yeah,
don't do that for a while, that feeling disappears.
I get that. That actually ties really well into what I was doing this weekend, which was coaching at Summit Point. I was coaching Jennifer, who's
Nice
the
segue.
driver I shared. So I
Expertly
didn't
done.
mean to actually.
No,
That was like
that's
a really you did it more than me.
guys, this is what
But
happens when
um
I this is the next episode after this one is 3 years. So this is what a 3-year
is it really?
podcaster looks like. Yeah. Do the math. 52 times 3. We're on what, episode 157.
That's like a million.
Wait, did we already pass it? Oh shit, it was last episode. I don't know how to math.
I don't know. I don't even know. I Okay, sorry, I'm coming.
Sorry,
I
go back.
don't make
Go
me forget
forward.
my thought. Ah, I'm
I
kidding.
didn't math
Okay, so
correctly.
I was I was coaching this weekend at Summit Point, and I was with Jennifer, who's the person I shared recently, who is like she and I get along super well with the way we approach the world, like the way we have uh I would say like there's a level of empathy, there's a level of uh uh maybe social anxiety, maybe there's a level of all that to the way we approach the world. So we get along
There's
really
like a
well.
understanding.
Yes, there's a introversion. That's what I was looking for. There's a level of introversion that we both share. So anyway, we have a really good time when we're coaching because or when I'm coaching her and when she's driving. But something that she brought up was her something that she struggles with, I guess I should say, is I don't think she listens to this, so I hope I'm not like airing her laundry. But anyway, uh, like getting to the limit quickly, but also the energy level that we have during the day. And I wanted to bring this up because it was a really interesting weekend because we had a bunch of changing weather. We had a bunch of like kind of like really back to back sessions. So our schedule was basically like Friday was 5 sessions of practice, but it started raining on session 3. Then it was really wet on kind of wet on session 4, and really wet on session 5. So that ended up being like a big challenge. And then day 2, she was in groups 3 and 5 of 8, but the sessions were only 10 minutes long. So it was like 3, boom, 5, like really quick, back on track.
Yeah.
And that meant that obviously there's a great opportunity to do reps, but there's also a really difficult opportunity to like mentally approach the session and make some changes that you want to like make for the next day. And overall, there were some struggles with like getting up to speed quickly. but I'm really curious about uh, that block because that's something I don't struggle with. You know, that there's like I can't just help but go out and like brake at the brake marker that I think I'll make the corner at.
Yeah.
Or beyond that, honestly, and then like kind of mess up.
I wonder how
And
accurately she can drive a lap in her head. Like how on point the visualization is, because if she could, like, if she I can imagine being tentative for like the first, maybe the second session, as you're like kind of like figuring out your references and stuff like that.
yeah,
Um but then, and then maybe like tentative through like the faster corners. Like at Summit Point, the last corner is actually more scary than you think it would be. Um but like the other corners, well, and maybe not the shoot, maybe you leave a little margin there if you're not feeling super comfortable. But if you can drive the lap accurately in your head and you know where the brake markers are and you know like where you're turning in, and like if you can like visually like point out those spots, and then you can drive that lap in your head, I don't know, that would be an interesting problem to solve, to like just go out there and do that like lap 1.
right. So something that presented itself is she went and did a lemons race in a BMW E30 that had like no power steering. It was a depowered steering rack in this car, and it was on 200 rubber tires. And she's used to her car, which is a SCCA T4 car, so it's an FRS on Hoosiers, and it has some suspension and stuff. So one of the adjustments was coming back from street tires and no power steering to race tires and power steering. And what we found out after, like I said, there was multiple sessions that were like wet and stuff. What we found out after a couple of dry sessions was there was an issue with uh or there was like a lack of G forces used. Basically, like I didn't push the tire hard enough. And to me that's what I wonder about with this like this I struggle with maximizing the first or the opening or the, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It with planning ahead, saying like I'm on this kind of tire, I'm going to maximize this versus I'm on this 200 rubber tire and I'm going to only have this amount to us.
I
I think
mean,
that's something that we might take for granted. Um,
well,
but it was like a big adjustment for her.
when you jump into a new car, Tom, and you're you're driving it, like what is the thing that tells you that you're at the limit? Because like as drivers, like we're trying to get to the limit as like fast as possible in the car, right?
Yes, but I honestly at this point I think I just know. I think I know like am I on 200 rubber tires? Am I on this kind of car that I'm driving? Like am I in an S2000? Am I in a 350Z? Am I in a Corvette?
So
Like I
are you
think I just
saying
kind of know.
are you saying that you know like what the limit will feel like on a 200, and then a Hoosier, and then a like a this car or that
Yeah.
car, or what end's going to step first, so you like you can anticipate correctly, like you, and just like make it do that thing instead of like wondering if it's going to do that thing, or
To an extent, yes. Yeah, I think within the noise, like I kind of know when I get the information of like what tires on the car, what kind of car am I driving. Like before I get in the car, I think I kind of have like a preconceived notion
yeah.
of what that car is.
I feel like most cars are like, if you had like a John Madden like build a player, like with a bunch of sliders, and you can only use like so
Who's
many
John
points.
Madden?
Oh my god, you got to know who John Madden is. There's I'm not even falling for this Tom O'Gorman. Like you have a build a character with like sliders, and like I feel like most cars, like you just like adjust the sliders, and like after like a couple corners you kind of have like an idea of where the sliders are, and then with experience you can kind of guess where like these sliders are. Like, you know, like you'll have like the power slider, the front grip slider, the rear grip slider, the weird behavior slider. Like you'll have like how are the brakes sliders, like all these like little things. And as you like drive more and more and more cars, you kind of like understand where these sliders are going to fall even before you jump in the car. um
Yes.
yeah.
I actually that's a really good way to put it. I think of it as more like the Need for Speed, like like the
L-
rating bars
Yeah,
under the car of like this car has better handling than this car and this car has more power than this car or whatever.
yeah. Like grip is a slider.
Yep.
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 So
Yeah, I
I
guess I
like
kind of lost the plot on where I'm going with
no,
this,
no,
but
I'll bring it back
go
to the
ahead.
plot. So I'm wondering, like, so because you're gonna have an understanding of, and then you throw in like random weather, and then that like now all those sliders, because you have an idea where they are of that car and what effect the inclement weather or whatever the conditions are is gonna have on a car with like this build of like where the positioning of all these sliders are. uh, then you automatically started at like a more comfortable level than somebody who's like not sure exactly where those sliders end up. But to me, that kind of falls apart when it's their own car and they've been driving it for like it's their car. Like they should understand like what the behavior is. I think not understanding where the behavior is, to me, the fundamental problem there is a lack of experimentation. Like we've talked about it on the podcast, like you just got to go out there and muck it up a little bit, right? Like if you're just driving around perfectly under the limit everywhere and you're driving like the quote unquote line and you're not making mistakes, you're not creating any moment that turns into anything that's going to teach you about one, yourself, two, the car, three, the track, four, the conditions, how all those play into each other. Like you kind of have to go out there and like mess it up a little bit.
Yep. That became a big theme from the weekend because it was very much that. It was like I'm going to go drive my car around in a comfort zone that I'm completely fine with and that like this is where I'm at. But because of the reference point that was most recently like in the brain, it was like, well, this is the G force that's available. This is the cornering force that's available. The car I just drove recently had no power steering and now I have power steering and like the weight in the wheel threw me off a little bit and like all of this compounded up to the point where instead of basically going through the process, uh, okay, rewinding back to the big theme of the weekend was like if the car tells you everything is okay, push harder. You know, like if everything is fine up to the point of the brake zone, everything is fine through the brake zone, everything is fine through the entry, and I make the apex, push that harder. You know, that
Yeah.
that like willingness to make a mistake or willingness to make a uh discovery, actually that's a better way to put it, the willingness to make the discovery became a big theme because actually one of the big challenges for the weekend was going flat out from we were at Summit Point and going flat out through the S's from turn 6 through turn 9, which are kind of an opening carousel into a couple of S's, turn 7, 8, 9.
Yeah. And the car would do it.
And the car would do it. It was actually pretty comfortable, but you know how FRSs when they're on full throttle, they like the diff opens up just
Yep.
in a way that gives you that rotation. So, as the suspension loads and as the diff loads up and you're on full throttle, it wants to rotate the car a little bit, and that was a sensation that we'd never really conquered. And that was like the main goal for the weekend, right? Just like I'm gonna conquer this feeling of what ended up she called it the float. And my favorite moment of the weekend was after like 2 or 3 sessions in the dry. She asked me like when I turn in for turn 9, which is the fastest of the S's, she said like this it feels like the car's getting light. It feels like the car's gonna like lift or it feels like it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
it feels like it's gonna rotate. I'm putting words in her mouth now, but it feels like it's gonna rotate. It feels like it's lifting. It feels like it's light.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Oh,
yes,
there we
yes, 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 yes."
go.
Like, I was so excited in my brain because it was the first time that she had had words behind, discomfort.
Yeah.
I think, like, putting words behind the discomfort was, like, such a breakthrough, and then it was like, "Okay, so let's talk about that. That's the rotation I've been talking about. That's the differential thing we've been talking about. That's there's all these words I had put to it, and she had not been able to put the words that I had used to
Did
her feeling.
did she get a
Go ahead.
dopamine hit when the car got light? Because to me, like
Um,
that's like That's where the
I
dopamine lives, is when the car's like floating around. You know what I mean?
I guess I didn't ask that. I got a dopamine hit from when she asked that question.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so basically she asked the question like when I'm going to turn in for turn 9 and I've already gone flat out through turn 6, 7, 8, not 6, 7, 8, excuse me, which are kind of like increasing radius S's.
I think
And
nine
I feel like
is
I turn in for turn
the
9.
nothing corner under the bridge, by the way. I think you mean 8.
No, no, 9 is the corner before that.
Isn't it?
There's no corner
I
where you're
thought there was
talking.
10 corners on
But
Summit.
there is. Yeah.
I mean, you were there all weekend. I don't know why I'm questioning you, but now I'm Googling it.
So she's like, as I turn in for this, and I want to stay flat out, but I don't because I feel this car feel light. And it was like, yes, that's the rotation underneath you. That's the weight of the car loading the outside suspension, and it's maybe changing a little bit of toe. And it's also like the diff is open because you're on throttle and it wants to help you turn. And it's all okay. And if you stay on throttle, it will not be that much different than if you just are turning a little bit, you know? And after she did it, okay, so the dopamine hit came in after she did it. I was spotting and kind of watching and spotting and communicating to her on the radio. And she did it flat out. And she came over the radio. It was like, I went flat. I went flat. I know I did it.
Yeah.
And that was like, that was her dopamine hit.
Oh, that's
My
so cool.
dopamine was when she asked the question,
Yeah.
like, what is that feeling? Is that okay?
Yeah.
And we had the whole conversation about like, is this okay? This is that level to push yourself through the comfort zone to find out on the other side how extreme the comfort zone is being pushed, and then also utilizing that to your advantage. That's like such a huge breakthrough, and I was so excited for her.
Yeah. She had the only thing she has to watch out for if she is listening to this is you have to make sure that like that float feeling, you don't like get scared or whatever from that feeling, because then you'll tense up. Because you really need, when the car's floating like that, you really need all the information possible. And the only way you're
Yep.
gonna get that information is just by being really loose, and especially your hands loose on the wheel. You can't tighten up on the wheel at all, or you're gonna lose all the minuscule sensation. Because when the car gets light like that, it's actually, you're getting information from the void of information. Like, you're at the limit because there's not as much information coming through like the inputs of the car.
We had so many we had like very long verbose conversations about what the wheel would feel like as you push that limit, and
Yeah.
like it loads to a point and it starts to like, it feels heavier, 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 equally heavy, equally heavy to a point, and then it starts to feel light. And this is stuff that like it won't benefit everybody to like talk about what that feels like. Some people just need to like be told to do it, and they'll do it. But we were at this point where it's like this kind of conversation is good. What I think is interesting is, oh, I lost it.
It's gone
No,
forever.
you were talking about the
Light
fidelity in the
touch,
hands.
relaxed.
Oh no. Oh no. This
Uh,
is like the worst case.
that's fine. You know what, guys? We're just gonna end it right here.
Ah,
All right,
yeah,
Tom,
yeah,
take
yeah.
us out.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Uh, oh shoot, I had such a good point. We're gonna come back to it.
Oh, well, guys, Tom, when you think of that point, make sure you throw it in the subscriber only channel.
Oh wow, you turned that into a sales pitch. I'm so proud of you, but also that was gross.
I was fighting my computer today, Tom. We need money. This computer's hanging on by dear life. No, seriously, the show was late today because I had to fight my computer. I think
No,
my RAM sticks are dying.
no, but it was super fun to like push somebody through that, but also be like a positive cheerleader instead of just like go flat, come on, go flat, and to have that moment of realization through questioning.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of I'm never going to be able to let go of the Ross Bentley podcast where he's like, I just ask questions. And when she asked me that question, I was like, oh, we got somewhere. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
oh my God, there was a light bulb and she doesn't even know. And now we're going to like discuss this light bulb.
Ever since
It
the
was
Ross
great.
Bentley podcast, I've been trying to because I know the answer, but I want them to figure it out. So like I'll just keep asking questions and questions and questions and questions until like we get there, and it takes way more time. Um to get to like the same answer, but I'm hoping because they got to the answer that it like digs in a little deeper into the brain. So we'll see.
Yep.
Also, asking the
Yeah.
question starts some interesting conversations.
Agreed. So yeah, that like that feeling of having somebody ask about like, is this okay? This is what I'm feeling. I think these are the words I'm going to put to it. Honestly, I feel like that's the biggest thing with working with your friends or working with clients, I guess, or whatever you call them. Um, having somebody ask you a question and understanding the words that they put to it, and then understanding what your perception of those words are. When she said like, I feel like the car is floating, and it was like, ah, that's exactly what you want. You want the car to feel like it's floating underneath you and to stay full throttle, and it's going to be fine. When she's perceiving like the car's floating, and I'm uncomfortable with that, like that verbalization or that question, that perception of what she's experiencing in the car in real time versus our conversation after.
Yeah.
That was like something that data couldn't do. That was something video couldn't do. And it took her being able to have the confidence to ask the question rather than like just listening to me talk or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
Let's
like a
see an
really powerful
AI
moment.
coach figure that one out. Whatcha got him.
Wait, should we talk about the AI coaching from the weekend that we saw?
What remind me what that was.
It was a video of a person using a Garmin Catalyst, which
Oh
if you have a
no, I
Garmin
don't want to talk
Catalyst,
about
this
this.
is
Nope.
perfectly fine.
Nope.
No?
I don't think we should talk about it.
Okay, move along.
Hold on. We could talk about how the comments of this person asking for help, how terrible it was that everyone was saying that like the car needs setup.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we could talk about that.
So there was a video that was posted and it was of lapping with like very terrible driving. Like just like I'm going to hope that when I turn more and go faster, the car turns more and goes faster.
It was the typical I'm going to try harder and hopefully that nets a better lap time style of driving.
Yeah.
So you can imagine exactly what that looks like. And the outcome of it was ended up in a tire wall. So like that's generally what happens is when the
Yeah.
like the quote unquote try harder aspect of trying to create a lap time goes into play.
And I was shocked to see comments in the video about, first of all, there were a number of people, including professionals we know who are like professionals, saying that their setup needed adjustment and asking setup about the car, which is like mind blowing to me. Like, if you can watch a video of somebody having those problems and the first thing you say is setup things, oh my God.
Dude,
Oh
I
my
think
God. Oh my God.
that's how some people approach driving though.
No, that's just wrong.
No,
I'm
it's
so sorry.
obviously
I don't have
wrong.
any sympathy. I
It's
don't have
obviously
any
wrong.
time for this. That's just wrong.
Yeah.
And if that's the thing you approach somebody asking for driving advice with, you don't have anything to say to them.
No, you don't.
Do not give them setup advice. Don't give them car advice. If they're asking about driving and you don't have driving advice, shut up. Like literally, keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. I'm sorry this is harsh, but like, oh my God. It was shocking to me how many people had to
Yeah.
set up advice for this person. And then the other part, go ahead.
I don't know if there was another part. That was the part that I was appalled about. Kevin in the
Oh,
chat says that that person had an instructor today. I think he was at the same track day that Kevin was at, and he did much better. So looks like the driving is being addressed, which that's the appropriate method to go after to that situation and issue.
but the other part was the number of people advising them that they were not online.
Oh, the
They were not
line.
on the line.
Oh God, the talk of the line just ruins me, Tom O'Gorman. Ah,
Ah,
I just feel my blood starting to boil when people are talking about the quote unquote line.
they're like, what's going on? Like, why can you help me? Like, advise me on my driving. And you're like, well, you're not driving on the line.
The line. I blame
What does that mean?
I blame all these HPDE organizations that like talk about the line. Well, you see here the line. They got like a laser pointer in like the classroom. The line here is you want to turn in at the hash mark and the you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do. And I feel bad for laughing at this, like this mentality, because it's not bad. It is incorrect in my opinion. The reason it's incorrect is because there's a failure in acknowledging the weight transfer of the car, the momentum of the car, and the inputs of the driver. Because if you're just driving the line, that doesn't help you
It's
understand the nuance and the ability to like take control of the car and make changes in real time. If you go watch a pro driver, they're not they're not liquid perfect on like their driving steering inputs and their corrections and all this. There's a lot going on. But the effect is a very smooth input down to the ground through the tire, through the suspension, through the input of the car. What they ask is ultimately a smooth thing. And when you have like a you're not driving on the line correctly, what do you do with that information? That's bad information. It's kind of like look up, look ahead. Like, what are you looking for? What are you looking at? Give me something to actually like
yeah, like
productively do with my choices, and then you take it
I
from
feel
there.
like I feel like teaching somebody just figuring this stuff out, like the quote unquote line is like that is like an expressway to the Dunning-Kruger curve. Like you're just going to be like on the front edge of the Dunning-Kruger curve forever because if like your focus is like driving this path around the racetrack and not the maximizing the car and where the weight can be to help maximize like the optimal condition of the car per like different phases of the corner. Like if that's not where the foundation is, then you're just setting them. You're having them focus on the wrong stuff. Like you're just focusing on the wrong stuff. That stuff
Yeah.
doesn't help you go faster or get better. It doesn't help you grow. It doesn't help you like it doesn't encourage the experimentation that's necessary to like truly get fast. It just kind of sets them in this like meandering
It's like a
safety,
very
but not even
yeah,
it's
it's
not even
too
that
rigid.
safe. It's not even that safe because they're not understanding what is actually controlling the behavior of the car. Like it without that understanding of like where the weight is the grip and stuff like that. Like it's just I don't know. I don't know. I and honestly, if I could figure this out in like a really, really, really easy to say way, then we could probably have like consultations for like novice HPDE groups everywhere and like talk about how like on entry it spirals down to apex and then as you get on throttle the spiral opens up and like it throws you to the outside or something. Like we could word it in a way where it makes sense, where it's like as you're taking speed out of the car the radius like spirals down and then if you as you get on throttle that spiral opens back up and like that is quote unquote the line. But like cars are going to do that differently than other cars and like just understanding that aspect means that you can like figure out quote unquote the line for any corner on any track in any conditions, whether somebody's next to you or not next to you or whatever.
Yep. Agreed. What do you mean by spiral? Can you put words to that?
So
Or are
if
you
you
making that up?
so imagine if you're going like 100 miles an hour and
Okay.
you a big skid pad and you're turning. The car is going to get to limit of adhesion. It's going to be turning a specific radius as you're going 100 miles an hour, right? So if you slow down,
Okay.
that radius will tighten down, right? But then also if you're slowing down, it puts weight on the front. So then you're going to drive an even tighter radius because now there's weight on the front. So on the entry of a corner, because we're shedding off speed, like on our way down to the apex, that radius gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And then when we're at the apex, that's where the radius is the tightest. And at or just before the apex is when we get on throttle. And now because we're gaining speed again and we removed weight from the front, that radius opens up, it opens, it opens, it opens, it opens. And you're basically like drawing that spiral that comes down toward the apex, and then the spiral that opens up from apex all the way to exit. And ideally, we're using like every inch of the racetrack, every inch of the apex, every inch of the exit, right? And like that is like quote unquote the line for all like all single corners, right? And then when you throw in like other corners, then there's like a little bit of an ebb and flow and a give and take that we talked about in the last episode. But that's like the fundamental understanding of maximizing a corner on a racetrack. And if novices just started there, then you just by that explanation and playing around with that on your novice like HPDE day, and whatever your comfort level is, you're going to be so much farther ahead than somebody who's just like trying to like drive to these points on the racetrack rigidly, without understanding of why they're driving to those points.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And that's a really interesting way to verbalize it. I think that will resonate with people who, uh, I don't know. I've never thought about it that way. So I feel like that will resonate with somebody somewhere. I hope.
I think I never read the Vivek Goel's I think I said his last name right. Is it Goel?
I think so.
He did a Beyond Seat Time course, and when that first came out, I remember a bunch of people talking about spirals, and as they were like talking about them, I was like, oh yeah, that
Viral.
makes sense. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. And I kind of just like I kind of already knew it, but I didn't know like a good way to describe it. But to me, like the
Yeah.
spirals is like a good way to describe it because you could totally imagine like because the radius just keeps tightening and tightening and tightening and tightening, and then sooner or later the car's just stopped and you're sitting there.
It's another way to think about when you say the shape of the corner. Like the shape of the corner to me when you say that implies weight transfer, uh, and momentum, but it's probably perceived as you're talking about the line, like the line that the car travels along.
Yep.
The spirals is another way to think about that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But the like
Never
the
heard
shape
that.
of the corner, because sometimes it's like the brake release is gonna like affect whatever the shape of the corner is. So like the way
Yeah.
that you come off the brake or even get on the brake or maybe come off the brake and then get back on the brake, like if you're thinking about like at the end of the back straight at VIR, where you like kind of release off the brake to like allow the car to make some space and then you finish off the braking and then you turn right into a roller coaster. Right. So like that's like the shape of the corner. It's being controlled by the brake pedal, right? Um, the shape of the spiral in is going to be completely dictated by how the release comes off of the brake pedal. Um, and the sooner that you can get your foot into a like a 1-to-1 of like my foot on the brake is like drawing this shape to place the car at this apex, and you should have like that angle at the apex like basically memorized. Where when you get to, I'm like doing karate over here by myself. I don't know why.
He's There's so many flat hands happening. If you don't watch us on YouTube,
I'm
you
like
can fully come to this
I'm like
moment and
full
you'll
on
see
dancing.
everything.
I'm like doing the Macarena over here. Um, so it like you have all this control on entry with the brake of how. Okay, I can't talk and do the Macarena at the same time. Is what I have just figured out. Um,
As you come off the break.
yeah, so that's gonna dictate like what the rate of spiraling is like how long do you stay on the brake, like when you like lifting off of it, like stuff like that. So like to me like that's like the you know when I say drawing the shape of the corner, like those are just one of the tools that you use to draw the shapes of the corners
Yeah,
is that thing.
that's cool. I like that.
I need to incorporate that into
Those are
autocross somehow, Tom, because I
Well,
feel
those are
like
new
that.
words I've never thought about, but okay, so with autocross, it's a skill that you learn with autocross without reference points, which I think is why autocross is so cerebral because you have to understand how the car and the weight of the car work without having reference points to say I'm going to brake at the 2 and I'm going to pull off the brake when I want to turn in and hit this apex. You have to understand like I have this momentum, I have this speed, and I'm going to brake in a way that lets me wrap around this point, which is basically made up and it's kind of demarked by this cone, but that's like basically it. That's all you have.
I think in terms of driving the car, I think I'm completely adequate, Tom. I think the thing I'm learning with autocross and why it just seems like I'm like just a little step behind like the all-time greats is I just don't have this like literally there was an optional slalom today in the thing and I just thought left is better. And then I sent Tom a picture of it. I'm standing hundreds of feet away and I zoom in on my phone and I send Tom a picture of it. And he didn't even get to walk it. He didn't see it in 3D space. And he goes, I think it's right. And I'm like, weird. I've been doing left. And I send him a video of it. And he goes, yeah, I think it's right. And then I send him a video of somebody else going right. And I go, I don't know, dude. It looks really awkward. And he goes, well, I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure, but maybe it's still right. And then my next run out there, I did it. I did it the first time going right. And I went 4/10 faster. And that just, it still doesn't make sense to me. I did both of them. I have video
Four
of both
tenths
of them.
data, 4/10 data faster. It's not like I went 4/10 faster somewhere else.
Literally just that one spot. I just like picked out that
Yeah.
one spot in Solo Storm, 2 well executed left side entry, right side entry. And by the way, this is all in our Discord in the what's the name of that channel? Run Vids. Where like I put out like a challenge to like the membership and I answered the challenge really quick because I was just like blown away how much better entering right was, even though I would have to turn around the last cone and the other way it didn't feel like I had to turn around the last cone, but obviously I did because my throttle application was less. And that's what you said is if you entered right, you would get on throttle sooner. And I couldn't see it. You said it. There's like a baseline understanding of what makes time in an autocross that you understand that I don't understand. And it's holding me back, Tom. And I got to figure it out.
I think it's just less distance. There's no amount of words I can say right now that will help you get it. And
Thanks.
I'm gonna say that up front right now. Like I will go blue in my face before I can like practically help you feel this. But what I saw was the opportunity to finish cornering earlier. What I saw was the opportunity to get to longitudinal acceleration earlier. What I saw was the opportunity to minimize lateral cornering uh, at the end of an element, which means you get to longitudinal acceleration, you get to acceleration generally earlier. And what I saw was like no reason that the beginning of that element would bite you at the end when you did the things I just said, right? Like you have the opportunities at the end, like I just said, but you don't have there's no reason at the beginning that's like one or two moments that like really slow you down or offset your ability to like keep weight transfer going or whatever.
Yeah, the beginning, because it was 4 cones, and those cones were basically straight, and then the
Yeah.
last cone was off to the right.
Yep.
So I thought if I started left, I would finish left, and that means that I didn't have to drive around that cone as much. Now the path, the road that I had to
Like
drive
I
on,
didn't have to drive around the fourth cone hard is what you're saying. Yes. Go ahead.
yes, with the last cone, the 5th cone, it because to me, because the cone went off to the right. So, but if I started right, then I would finish right. Then I would have to be on the right side of the cone that went to the right. So to me, it was like I would have to turn more to get there. Does that make sense? Am I explaining that like
Does.
with words
Yeah.
enough? So it was 4 cones, and then the last cone was like if you walked like 3 paces and put it off to the right. But the road also went like that direction. So
Yeah. So your thought was I can go through these elements, I can go through these corners and go through the last corner and I will still be turning, but I'll be on throttle and it'll be okay. When the reality is the like I could have finished the cornering earlier, meaning one cone before, and I could have been on throttle and I could have been accelerating and I could have been like done with all of this. And the data, my instincts and the data both showed that it was faster to do so.
yeah, and it's I think the takeaway is because
Oh yeah, yeah,
the
yeah. What's your takeaway?
well the straightaway starting on the right side started sooner. Like because even though like maybe my speed around like while like my maximum speed when I was turning was higher when I started left. That doesn't necessarily mean my maximum speed down the straightaway after was higher, because when I started right, I actually was on throttle a whole cone sooner. So while the slaloming part was slower, uh, or at least it felt slower, it was the same speed the first 4 cones. But I basically, because of the way I wrapped around the 4th cone to make space for the 5th cone that was off to the right, that means I was just kind of driving in a straight line immediately after that. So then I was fully committed on the throttle at that point.
Yep. If you go watch the video, which is in our Discord, you can go see at corner 3, at cone 3, excuse me. At cone 3, you had to do a speed adjustment, and at cone 4, you had to do a speed adjustment, and that allowed you to finish cone 5 properly. You executed perfectly, but then when you switched it, you went the opposite direction. You didn't have to do a speed adjustment after cone or turn
Yeah, I
2,
think
3-ish.
I was still competing in
Like
the thing.
everything was done early.
I was literally
But
uploading those
all that to
videos.
say is like there's a bit of distance covered, there's a bit of like efficiency of input. But I think that the bigger picture here, right? Like if you expand this thought, is the amount of distance covered versus when you get your cornering or when you get your lateral cornering done, the longitudinal grip that you have, especially if you're in a power car, or if you get your effort done early, that's where time starts to pay off. And obviously with autocross, this pays off way more exponentially than with a road course situation. But even still, like this kind of applies to wheel to wheel driving. Like if you if you can set up a positioning of the car so that your cornering is done early and you get your longitudinal acceleration
Yep.
going, you can get a run on somebody. Like there's a correlation to this with everything. But if you understand it within the autocross terms, meaning a very small space, like you can really get a mastery of what's faster than other people.
Yeah, I think
Does
because
that
of
make sense?
yeah, no, I think because of iRacing, I think finding time on a track is way easier to me than like decoding exactly what's optimal autocross. I feel like I can literally watch a lap and know exactly what would need to be changed to go like slightly faster on a racetrack. But that doesn't come as naturally to me in autocross. And I want to fix that because I don't want to be a step off the all-time greats. Like I would like to be one of the all-time greats. I would like to be
Yeah.
DJ shows up, everyone's fighting for second, and right now that's not necessarily the case. So,
Dude, you're in the plateau zone where you're on one of those long plateaus
yep,
where it's gonna be really hard to feel the difference, but you're like
I'm gonna break in.
you're doing it.
I just
You're
have to
doing
keep
it.
pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
But
break in. I have to just keep putting the brakes down. So, and right now I'm like pushing up against the iceberg. Where is it? I can't show it on the camera. My arm doesn't twist that way. What a terrible tattoo. I can't even like show anybody. There we go. It took my brain a little bit to figure out how to do it. Um uh right now I'm like, if I'm pushing a rock up a hill and it just feels like I'm pushing against a wall because it's moving so slowly. But at some point I'm gonna get to the top of the hill and the rock's just gonna disappear away from my hands and I'm gonna get to watch it roll down all the way down the other side of the hill. That it always happens like that. Any breakthrough I've ever had, it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. But I have to remind myself that that's just what it feels like. And at some point you'll have a breakthrough and then everything just like falls into place together. Everything seems like it's happening rapidly. Uh like things just happen so quickly. And then you get to another point where it's like, oh crap, we're hitting another one of those plateaus where I just have to like kind of like push through it. And this has happened so many times in my motorsports journey, and it happened in like
me
esports
too.
stuff,
Yep.
and it's just part of the thing. So guys, if you're in like a plateau or anything right now where you feel like you've just been pushing for a while, don't get stagnant in your trying. Like experiment, question, critical think, ask ask for help. Like I sent Tom the thing because I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know it. So I sent Tom, and now we're having this discussion, and like, bounce ideas off your friends, and like I said, experimentation and asking questions, like that's a 100% like the root of getting better at anything is you know what, and I've been doing this forever, Tom. I played Halo a little bit like the last like 2 weeks, and it's been like bringing this rush back to like me trying to get good at Halo like back in like the 2008 to 2011, and I just surrounded myself with people that were better at it than me, just trying to get like as good as possible. And then when I got to autocross, I just did the same thing. So just do that. Like everyone listening, just surround yourself with people
Yeah,
that are better at the thing than you. Cause and if you're personable and nice and people like being around you, then people will help you because like people want to see you succeed if people enjoy having you around.
agreed. Yep. Also, I've been playing some old video games as well.
Oh,
Did I talk about this?
no.
Okay, so I've been playing. I got an emulator that's like a handheld video game,
Oh,
like old Game Boy Advance, and I don't know,
what are you
like a bunch
playing
of
it
old
on?
video
Are
games.
you like playing it on your phone?
No, it's like a little handheld emulator. I don't have it
It
near me,
it looks
but
like
sorry,
a
I
little
have it
Game
in there.
Boy, and it has like a
It's like
colored
a little
screen on
Game
it.
Boy that flips open. Dude, old video games are so hard. They're so hard.
And
Oh my, they're so
unforgiving.
difficult because like the response on the controller is not the right what you expect now of us, like of our world. Uh the field of view is not the same, like the scope of the camera is not the same. It's so hard. So I thought like
What
I'll
game are you
just play
playing?
one of these old all sorts of stuff. I've been playing like a Zelda game, like a bunch of old racing games. Um, okay, actually,
Hold on.
if anybody's doing some old, if anyone's doing some old emulator stuff, V Rally 3, I think is what it's called, is one of the best simulators I've ever played in my life. And it's like a rally simulator, but you actually have to like drive the car and you can feel the weight of the car. You can feel the like limits of the adhesion based on what tires you pick. This is like a Game Boy Advance game. And
What?
it's called V Rally 3, I think. So if you're an emulator person, like give it a shot. I don't know. But playing these old games has given me like an idea of the fidelity that I lack in a way. Does that make sense?
Oh, Tom,
Like,
I've seen you
oh
play
my god,
Halo.
when I
I
was a little
totally know what
kid.
you're talking about. Tom, we're literally playing Halo, and Tom goes, "Am I doing good?" He has 0 kills.
I'm so bad. Okay, first person shooters are different. But yeah, these old games, I don't know. Like when you brought that up, I thought, yeah, that's in a way, I feel like it could possibly help you become better at the activity of like either planning ahead or response time or game plan or like understanding like patterns there's some very basic stuff that are in these old video games these that I feel like actually play into what we do now.
Can I make a suggestion for an old video game that you play?
Yeah, please do.
Have you ever played Super Mario World? That's the one that's on
Yes,
Super
but
Nintendo.
that's 100%. Yes, I 100% have played this game and that's exactly what I mean. Go ahead.
But I just think that's one of the greatest 2D side-scrolling games ever made, and you should play it if you haven't played it.
But like it gives you this presentation of patterns and this presentation like this you can't see very far ahead of you and all that and but you learn to understand what's coming like to me that makes 100% a 1-to-1 ratio of what's happening when you're driving a car.
Kinda, yeah. Honestly, I bet gamers make better race car drivers than non-gamers.
But what about dyslexic gamers?
That's like, according to Ross Bentley, that's like primo cream of the crop.
Exactly. Oh,
uh,
it's funny.
should we
How long
answer
have we been going?
hour and 10? Should we answer a question?
Yeah, yeah, go for it.
Okay, hold on, I gotta get to it. I'm just picking
I
the.
realized after we started that I don't have contacts in, so I can't see the time.
Yeah, gotcha. I got it. We're gonna answer. Sorry for everyone that has messaged the last couple weeks because we haven't done any questions, but I'm doing this one from. Uh, I've always. Is it Crandy or Randy?
No, he said he's known as Crandy, but
Crandy.
his name's
Okay.
Andy.
All right. So this one's from Crandy. It says, "Do you see the value in practicing with a lot of margin on the table? For example, I like doing sessions at 7 to 8 tenths because I'm moving a lot of risk while getting to practice brake shape and controlling yaw. Is this a waste of time? At what point do you consider a session or day not valuable on the tenth scale?"
All right, I'm gonna spill Andy's tea. He drives a street class grid life car that is an all-wheel drive boost buggy, which means it makes like a lot of power and a lot of straight line speed, but it's not that
Got it.
performance
This
able.
is this is
But
Andy. Okay, I know who Andy is. I just the usernames always mix me up. Sorry, Andy.
yes. All right. So it's like it's not an amazing car in the corners, but it makes a lot of speed for what it is. And basically, uh, I perceive this question to say like, is it better to focus on cornering than straight line speed, or is it better to focus on cornering than overall lap time? And I think for this situation, yes, I think it's actually beneficial to limit your top speed in a way that you maximize your corner entry and your mid corner speed to then maximize the exit of the corner without worrying about your top speed or your threshold braking. But overall, outside of this specific situation where you're in this kind of car, I kind of have the same perspective, but I kind of think it's like you got to push yourself within like 3 laps. Like 3, 4 laps, you gotta be pushing the limits based on that idea we said earlier, where it's like if things are okay, if things are comfortable, if things are under control, like can I push this brake zone deeper? Can I push this brake release earlier or more aggressive through the entry? Can I get on throttle faster? Can I speed my foot speed up between the brake pedal and the throttle pedal to get on throttle sooner? Whatever it may be, can I push that limit? And I think that practicing at 7 or 8 tenths is fine in the sense of like, where are you strategically dialing back?
Are
But
you
overall, you should never be dialing back brake zones or corner entries. Or to be honest, I think kind of corner exits. I think you should be basically pushing your comfort zone up till the point that those are at the limit pretty quickly, like within 2 3 laps. Go ahead.
are you
Sorry.
s- you're good. Are you saying like in Andy's situation, basically like building the corner from exit out and like use the 8 tenths to do that? Where like basically just make sure that the car is in a nice state at apex so you can maximize the exits and then you can build the corner like backwards from there until you have like the 10 tenths lap. Is that basically what you're saying?
Yes, specifically for Andy's car because it's like an all-wheel drive Evo, like street car, so it's not like a ton of aero or anything.
Yeah.
Like build it from the exit first. So like you don't have to come in at 10 tenths on the first lap or second lap. You don't have to come in because the car has a lot of power. You don't have to come in at 150 miles an hour, but you should be building the confidence to say like where can I get on throttle, where can I get on throttle to like dial this car into like rotating off the exit, where can I push this acceleration zone from the apex or pre-apex off the corner, and then I dial my braking zone in after that.
Yeah.
So I honestly think like the answer to this question is kind of like based on how much usable horsepower you have, like you should be driving you should be driving 10 tenths from the entry of the braking zone through the exit of the corner, basically on lap 2. Let's say, like not the opening out of pit lane lap, but right after that.
I'll do this. I'll
You
do
do
this.
not have to push the straight line speed of a car in that time. Go ahead.
I'll do this where like I kind of back up the brake zone. Maybe it's just like a half marker or whatever of where like it
Yeah.
could be. And I'm just trying to have the car at where I have the weight like really well managed on entry down to the apex, just to get like a feel for like what that feels like. And then when I have like this like feeling or muscle memory of like what the entry of this corner should feel like, then I'll incrementally move the brake marker up to the point where I can't recreate that feeling on entry, and then back it up to like the point where I could. And then that to me is like the maximum on of entry into a corner. So I guess you could say that's like a 8/10 entry for like trying to figure out, but I'm trying to create like a feel or like a flow for the weight and the way I'm going to manage it on entry to have the car like have that glide down to apex, so then I can get like a really clean exit, and then I'll fill in the gaps like
Yeah.
as I get the reps. So like to me, like you absolutely could find pace with the like the 8/10 if you're blowing the entry every time and you never get like a really good feeling for like an efficient corner. And when I say efficient, like efficient with the weight of the car and how you're leaving. Uh, if if you keep messing that up, and I said blowing, so Tom's chuckling over there. Um,
No, I've been chuckling because the you're describing exactly what the people were advising poorly in the video that we talked about an hour ago.
what? Wait, what were they saying? I didn't. They were
You're
saying
not
this.
driving on the line.
No, 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 no. I didn't. I let the record show. I did not say the line once.
No, they were saying that. You are saying like you have to understand the speed of the car on entry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I distracted you with my giggling.
Okay. I thought you were being a child.
Nope.
But yeah, if you're if the car's like all like bottled up and like you know stuck on its front tires because you're desperately trying to get the speed out of this thing and you never get like the weight efficiently moving to do anything of efficiency down to apex, then you never get a good feel for exit, and it's just you just don't get a good look at the corner. This is totally a thing in autocross too. Like my first run, I'm never like just charging stuff because then I don't get a good feel for the elements. And maybe there's some room for improvement there. But I like really I just want like efficiency on the weight and the way I'm balancing the car through different elements, and then I can try to shrink down like whatever that braking zone looks like. But the like from turn in to like basically exit, like the car should be basically the same. I'm just like shrinking down the amount of time that it takes me to get to like the proper speed at turn in.
Yeah. So overall, I think when you think about like practice laps at 7 or 8 tenths, be really strategic with where or why you're doing lower than 10 tenths. And then also make sure that you're doing like the essentially the let's say exit no, let's say apex to exit 10 tenths on purpose early, and the entry, you know, brake release through turn in through the apex at 10 tenths next, and straight line speed and brake point after, all of what I just said. It matters, but it doesn't matter that much.
And
That's my opinion.
you could even drive half of the track at 5/10 if it's like an
Yeah,
afternoon session and you're like, okay, normally my car can only do like 2 laps and then it's like dead. But what if you just like drove the sections of the track at 9/10, 8/10 that you
dude,
need to
I do that
practice?
100%. 100%. Like when I do data laps, the out lap that I do is 100% exactly what you just said. Go ahead.
Yeah, where you're just you're like dialing in these spots that you know you're leaving time and that you're going to go after like on that next morning session, because everyone knows the morning session's really the only one that matters in like any kind of time attack or time trial, unless there's like
Yep.
clouds and like a cold front coming through or whatever. But like most of the time it's the morning session, and then the rest of the sessions are just practice for the next morning session. Like that's basically how it works most of the time.
Yup.
So go out
All
there
right.
and
Hope that helps.
strategically drive the parts of the track you need to. You don't need to go ham on all the parts
Also,
that you're good at.
yeah. Also, Andy like reset the track record for street and grid life like by a second the last time out. So I call BS on needing this advice.
Hey, everyone can be faster.
Yeah. I okay. Yeah. It's very true.
I like your mentality, Andy. I'm glad you're part of the podcast group. So, all right, should we call it?
Yep. What are you
Uh,
doing this weekend?
I was gonna ask you, what are you doing this weekend, Tom?
Okay, I'm going to Road America and I'm doing commentary for everything but drift. So I'll be on the mic for GLTC, GLGT, Rush SR, and all Time Attack
That's
with Kyle and with Ito, I believe.
what is Ito
So you
commentating?
can
Is Ito still in the
maybe it's the
audience?
Time Attack, I think.
Oh no,
So
Ito left.
you can tune in on YouTube on the live stream for Grid Life Live, and you'll catch the sultry sounds of my voice.
If you didn't listen to enough Tom O'Gorman voice, tune in this weekend.
Yeah, and if that was creepy, I won't be doing that again. Uh, yeah, it'll be fun. I'm super excited. Actually, I'm really excited. I want to be a part of making that stream like be a big deal.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
like
trying to think of a word that we could have you sneak into the broadcast. And when you say that word, everyone that listens to the podcast will be like, he said that word because it was brought up on the podcast.
Dunning Crew. Actually, no. Before I no, just send it in on the Discord. Put a word in the thing
I was going to
in the
say,
chat. I don't know.
I want you to agree with Kyle at some point or Ito and say indubitably.
Indubitably. Is that a Princess Bride joke?
I don't know. I just think it's a funny word. When I was a kid, my sister and my dad would say indubitably to each other because I couldn't say it because I would just go indubitably and my mouth would fall apart. So my dad and my sister would make fun of me because I couldn't say words. I mean, I could barely talk now. I don't know why I have a podcast, but they would say it back and forth to each other to get me frustrated. So that's why I know that word exists, but that's not why I think you should say it. I think you should say it because why else would you ever say that word? And it would come up in a commentary broadcast at some point. So if you sneak it in and indubitably, everyone that listens to the podcast would know, Tom.
I'm going to, but it's going to make no sense. Just to be clear,
I'm trying to think of the scenario like Kyle would be like, "These guys are out for blood, indubitably, Kyle."
have you ever seen this movie Flying Pilot Faking? Catch Me If You Can.
Oh yes, I've seen that.
Okay, so where he goes like what's his line? He goes I concur. I concur.
Yeah,
That was his like he fakes being a doctor by saying like I concur.
he
He doesn't
disagrees
know
with
what that
people.
means.
Yeah,
It's gonna be me indubitably.
indubitably, Kyle. I can't wait.
Okay, I can't wait either. Okay, so yeah, I'll be on Grid Life Live. What are you doing this weekend?
Oh yeah, I'm going to the Chicago National Tour. D Street has I think 17 people in it. So me and Peter are going to Joliet, Illinois, Indiana,
The
Illinois.
booming metropolis.
I won't be that far away from you, actually.
Actually, yeah, it's like an hour.
No, it's more than an hour. Milwaukee's like an hour.
Depends on how fast you drive.
Okay, yeah. I will be in a GR86, so you never know. So
Okay, so what's your approach? What are you working on? What's your goal?
I'm gonna keep putting down the bricks that I've been putting down. The thing I've been trying to get better at this whole year is the Tomo Vision thing, where it's just more automatic, where I just naturally like throw my eyes far into the course when I have that downtime that I recognize on my course walks. It's becoming more automatic, and I'm finding my consistency and just like the mistakes are less the more automatic it gets. But it's like I'm finding a really hard time to just really make this a thing that I don't have to think about. But it's getting there. I feel it. I feel it like becoming. It takes less and less bandwidth for me to do this thing. So it's getting there, but I still have to think about it. At some point, it will be automatic, and then you watch out, everyone else. Wah.
Suck it, daddy-o. That sounds crazy without context. I like that. That's a good goal. I think my goal is to do, I wanna do time attack commentary for more time attackers better than what normally happens, which is not to say what normally happens is bad, but I wanna cover
All the stories.
who yeah, I wanna cover who's in what group and what they're doing, and, I wanna cover a little more personal, specifically the time attack, because I
Yeah.
think the wheel to wheel, that gets, it gets what it gets. It's always pretty good. But
Yeah.
yeah, time
So
attack is
if you're a time attacker and you haven't sent Tom a blurb for
hey,
him to put in his notebook,
yeah, what are you doing? It's your fault. Come on,
come
send
on,
me something.
give Tom a story, like you're here with your mom, she's in the passenger seat, don't tell Adam, like whatever you need to
Yeah,
say.
I had sausage for breakfast, I don't fucking care. Well, I don't care.
Well,
Whatever it is.
there goes our PG rating. Earmuffs, children.
Alright, yeah. That's all.
All right, Tom. With that FCC fine, why don't you send us out?
To the FCC, to all the people at the, FAA, and also the NAACP, I love your hair and hope you win.